The inflation data is coming in and showing the trends that we'd like to see. Even core services really moving in a direction that I think is surprising many. By the end of 2023, in my opinion, I think we'll be seeing a 2.5% to 3% range on inflation.
We've had enough global weakness that the U.S. can actually observe some and appreciate some organic disinflation that really is already in tow and feeding through the process, and just let that play out, and we could get there without necessarily having to trigger that profits recession or an actual recession with a significant rise in unemployment. So we do see some light at the end of the tunnel, some hope.
I think that pace is what is most important, certainly to an EM investor, because that pace is going to dictate central banks' response to, whether they have to be increasingly hawkish or dovish from here. Given the work that has been done by central banks and where inflation is today, I think compared to expectations of Fed funds and future expectation of inflationary increases or decreases, we're probably closer to a path of rates coming down, of central banks being able to take their foot off the gas a little bit on the tightening. And that is all going to be a tailwind for the lower quality tiers of emerging markets, the lower quality tiers of high yield, and it creates a real opportunity in those dislocated markets at this moment.
It's a different, COVID created some mismatches, some time mismatches. It also shifted trends forward very quickly in personal preferences, and I do think that's going to make a difference in how we look at inflation going forward. It's not just cyclical, it's structural.
The Federal Reserve is targeting a 2% inflation rate, and I'm very skeptical that they will be able to manage that. They can manage aggregate demand by slowing the economy down with higher interest rates, but they really don't have any tools to manage aggregate supply. I tend to think about supply as a production function, with inputs of capital, labor, energy, and raw materials. Well, raising interest rates raises the cost of capital. Labor's a challenge. I don't see labor supply growing. I see it shrinking. That means higher wages. Energy. We have a green energy transition. It's going to be large, challenging, and expensive. So that just leaves raw materials. And I'm looking at forecast of structural shortages for copper, for lithium, for nickel, and the increased volatility of the weather means we may also have challenges in such basic things as temperate grains, cotton, and lumber.